This is a little bit of the story of the Wilderness Center. Many people wonder why I had an interest in it. It's because I grew up on a farm and loved the land. Didn't love to hoe corn as we used to have to do, but or milk cows, but I loved the land. And the way it came about, the beginnings of the Wilderness Center, was that Charlie Sechrist owned this farm, which is now the base farm for the Wilderness Center. Charlie Sechrist was a bachelor, lived on the farm. That house, I think, has been torn down. But in any event, Charlie came to my law office to make a will, and which I did for him. In the will, he left all of his property to 4 children of a former or of a present employee, like the employee, but he wanted the children to have the benefits. So it provided that they would each get a share of his estate. And he named myself as the executor of the estate. So Charlie was a unique personality. He was a bachelor. Interestingly, one of the things he put in the will was a modest amount for the church in Wilmot. He never went there, but he said he loved to hear the bells on Sunday morning. And so consequently, he had that little bequest. Well, Charlie lived to be, I was 88 or 89, never went to a doctor, but he ate lots of bananas. I like to tell my friends, if you want to live a long time in health, the bananas are the secret. It certainly worked for Charlie. He told me that was almost a staple of his diet. In any event, when Charlie died, we filed the will for probate and had the farm appraised. It was appraised at $60,000 by a couple of the bankers from Navarre. Charlie had a niece in Detroit that was counting on getting his estate, and she was quite disappointed to find out that he had a will and it was going to go otherwise. But in any event, I was the executor of the estate and therefore had to make the decision, and I had a power sale as to what to do. Well, the coal companies wanted to buy it and strip it because, as any of you been around that part of the country, you know there's a lot of strip mining went on, and this land had coal under it. And so I drug my feet. I didn't want to see it stripped. It was Charlie was interesting. He made his money. It was his job was to go out and buy big trees from farmers, cut them and have them cut and sawed into lumber, and he sold the lumber. But he never cut the big trees on his own farm. So he apparently had an affection for those trees, and he didn't touch the ones of his own. These 2 professors from Malone College, Arnold Fritz and Charlie King, came to see me. And they said, we'd like to buy this land for a wilderness center for young people, for schools, and so on and so on. But, of course, they didn't have any money. And they formed a nonprofit, the Stark Wilderness Center. But the question they had, I had to get $60,000 to sell it because that was the appraisal. So I went to the Timken Foundation and asked the then head of the foundation, Dick Baker, and Dick said, well, I'll give you $60,000. He did, and without that, it wouldn't have been possible. So they got the $60,000, purchased the farm from me, myself as executor, and that was the beginning of the Wilderness Center. After they bought the land and the farm, and then the next question, then you had to raise money to get the thing started. So we set up a committee, and I chaired it, as a matter of fact, and we raised some money to get the thing underway. And that's the background, the story of how it all happened. And it's been a terrific asset of our community. You have to go there and watch, particularly school students, interact with all the wonderful things about nature. And I think the great value is that it does give the students an appreciation of their natural heritage. And that is important. It's important to the future of our country to have preserved places like this and to continue an education program And what all of you that are here tonight are doing in supporting this dinner and supporting the program is you're contributing to the future of our community. You're contributing to the understanding of the natural heritage for all these students, and not only students, but adults that visit the Wilderness Center. It not only is an education, but it brings pleasure to people. And it all goes back to Charlie Sechrist. I wish Charlie could see what's happened. He'd be proud to know that his piece of land with his big trees has been put to such a great use. Again, I thank all of you for supporting this program and for all that you've done in the past and tonight and in the future, because you are giving something as a heritage to many generations that will enjoy this this oasis, if you will, of natural beauty.